The summer acting program at the Maggie Flanigan Studio is a 6-week acting intensive in New York that includes the Meisner Summer Intensive. In this interview at the studio, Kate Pitney talks to Katie about Meisner training and what she learned in 6 weeks.
I thought that it meant to try and prepare yourself to jump into anything that was thrown at you. And I think I maintain that view now, but I think I have more of an understanding of what it means to be sort of ready for anything to be thrown at you at any moment and how sort of visceral that is. Yeah, I think in general it just means having a process and having an understanding of how to approach things that are given to you and just the ability to sort of be present in the moment when you're working. I think the beginning with the repetition exercise is sort of breaks down everything that you thought you knew about acting and all of the previous scene work or anything else that I had done before just sort of seemed like it didn't matter because we went back to the basics at first. And I think that kind of made me shed my beliefs prior to then. And then moving on from that, when we eventually moved into scenes, I think I approached them much more, in a different way than I did before. My mom had studied with Sanford Meisner, so I knew about the technique and I'd heard a lot about the repetition and things like that, but I'd never done it myself, which was really interesting to sort of jump into. I learned that I sort of do all of these things to protect myself with my body and with the way that I speak, and they were things that I just hadn't been aware of at all before. And just sort of the ability to start to release those things, I think has freed me up a lot in terms of my work in scenes. All of the classes work together, so I think movement especially really supplemented my work in Charlie's class really well, because it's a lot of letting go of things and sort of opening up the channel of communication between your mind and your body, which I think is very helpful for any actor, but specifically for me. And voice has sort of manifested in the sense that we've worked a lot on jaw tension, and that's something that I know I have an issue with in scene work that has been pointed out to me. So sort of being able to release that makes me feel more comfortable about my freedom in my scene work. The on-camera class was really interesting because we were taught a lot about just sort of how auditions work, and we would go into the room like we would in an audition and work on camera and just sort of get past the nerve-wracking aspect of that in and of itself, which I think made me more comfortable. We also watch ourselves, which, although it's difficult, I think it's the best way to make yourself aware of what you do. And I think that we talk over sort of our own work as we watch ourselves, which is very helpful just to sort of have a critique and then try what you've been doing again. The thing that made this experience different for me, I think, was the fact that we didn't start by being thrown these major scenes with these big conflicts in them. We started from this very beginning, very basic technique. And then once we had grown immensely through that, we began to do scene work. And I think it just sort of made me feel like my previous education had been sort of skimmed over and like I wasn't ready to have those things thrown at me when they were. I think that my class has gotten very, very close in the time that we've spent together, sort of because we've had these breakdowns throughout class and sort of all experienced this growth together, which is a really nice feeling to have all of those people become so close to you and be so comfortable with them in a short time span. But also in the auxiliary classes, having the people from the 2-year program who are a year in or things like that has been very helpful, just in terms of the fact that they sort of have a point of perspective on the studio and on the work that we do in acting class, where of course they won't give anything away, but they're sort of very understanding of where we're at different times of the week and things like that. Charlie is not easy on you, but he's very fair. And he's not easy on anyone, which is sort of the great part of it. But none of it is personal or anything like that. It's just very much an environment where everyone grows. Myself and everyone else in my class speak about this experience in a way where it changed our lives. And I think that it has the ability to do that for any person, because you start with this very basic thing and you get to know yourself both as an actor and as a person, and I think that's something that can advance and benefit anyone at any point in their life, probably.
Students who are interested in studying the Meisner technique the way that Sanford Meisner originally conceived the training should apply online for admission to the Maggie Flanigan Studio and schedule an interview as soon as possible. Potential students with questions should call 917-789-1599.